Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Salutations to Ramana, who shines as the Self in every being. We begin today's Saturday Satsang by a prayer which will be chanted by Srimati Sapna Ganesh. This will be followed by the chanting of the Muktaka trayam.
Dakshinamurti Sarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Ramanacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopasantaye Angikam Bhuvanam Yasya Vachikam Sarva Vangmayam Aharyam Chandrataradi Tam Namasatvikam Shivam Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana to everyone.
Ekamaksharam Hridi Nirantaram Bhasate Swayam Likyate Katam Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram Yahamahami Sakshat Atmarupena Bhati Hridi Vishamanasa Swam Chinvata Majjatava Pavanachalanarodhat Atmanishto Bhavatvam Deham Mrinmayavajjadatmakamaham Buddhirna tasyastyato Naham tattatapeta supti samaye Siddhatma sadbhavataha Koham bhavayutak kuto varadhiya Dhrishtatmanishtatmanam Soham spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam. Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with the chanting of a few verses from Upadesa Saram by Uma and Ashwini.
O Ramana. Vayurodhanaliyate mana Jalapakshivadrodasadhanam Chittavayavaschitkriayutaha Shakhayordvayi Shaktimulaka Laya Vinashane Ubhayarodhane Layagatam Punar Bhavati Nomritam Pranabandhana लीनमानसम् एकचिन्तना नाशमेत्यद नष्टमानसो उत्कृष्टयोगिन कृत्यमस्ति किं स्वस्तितिं यथा दृश्यभारितं चित्तमात्मना चित्वदर्शनं तत्वदर्शनं मानसं तु किं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात् वृत्तयस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रिताः वृत्तयो मनो विद्यहं मन अहमयं कुतो भवति चिन्वत ऐपतत्यहं निजविचारणम् अहमिनाशभाज्यहमहं तया स्फुरति हृत्स्वयं परमपूर्णसत्। नमो रमण।
Namo Ramana. In the next part of the satsang, we have offerings of Ramananjali Sangeetam. Today we will start with an offering by Srimati V. Radha, followed by an offering of Ramananjali song by Dr. Pratibha Sundaresh, followed by another offering by Savitri Krishnan and Jaisriram Krishnan.
Namo Ramana to all. Last week I had started with the Ramanuni Nitya Seva, which I was telling that Sri Y.V. Venkateshwara Rao has written this Nitya Seva set of songs, just like the Sevas happening in Tirupati to Lord Venkateshwara. And last time I had taken the Suprabhata song. This time I'm taking the Ujwal Seva. It's called as Ujwal Seva song. So it is in Ragam Mohanam, set to Aditalam, and the music is by Dr. Rajkumar Band. Vaibhavamuga Uyaladona Ramanuduge Mella Challagani Mellaga Vivaga Agaliki Sumamulu Viriyaga Galiki Sumamulu Viriyaga Vaibhavamuga Uyaladona Ramanuduge Mella Viyala Champala గిరిశిఖరమే ఆధారముగా వేదములు బంగరు గొలుసులై గిరిశిఖరమే ఆధారముగా వేదములు బంగరు గొలుసులై నేల తల్లి పొడి పీఠముగా నేల తల్లి పొడి పీఠముగా సురలు నరులు సేరి ఊపగా సురలు నరులు సేరి ఊపగా వైభవముగా ఊయలలోన రమణుడుగే ఉయ్యాల జంపాల ఉయ్యాల జంపాల స్వర్ణకాంతి మేని ఛాయతో కాంతులీను నయనములతో స్వర్ణగాని మేని ఛాయతో కాంతులీను నయనములతో భక్తజనులు నుతుల పాడగా భక్తజనులు నుతుల పాడగా పరవశమునదర వీక్షించుచు పరవశమునదర వీక్షించుచు వైభవముగా ఊయలలోన ఊయలలోన రమణుడుగే రమణుడుగే మెల్ల మెల్ల ఉయ్యాల చంపన ఉయ్యాల చంపన ఉయ్యాల చంపన. నమో రమణ.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. It's a beautiful composition in praise of Bhagavan Ramana by Shuddhananda Bharati. சத்தாஹி சித்தாய் சதானந்த ரமணனே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே. சத்தாஹி சித்தாய் சதானந்த ரமணனே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே. சத்தாஹி சித்தாய் சதானந்தமாகியே தானே தனக்குவமையாய் சத்தாஹி சித்தாய் சதானந்தமாகியே தானே தனக்குவமையாய் சக்தி மழை பொழிகின்ற சண்டமாருதமே தலை தோங்கும் அருள் வெள்ளமே சக்தி மழை பொழிகின்ற சண்டமாருதமே தலை தோங்கும் அருள் வெள்ளமே தலை தோங்கும் அருள் வெள்ளமே. சத்தாஹி சித்தாய் சதானந்த ரமணனே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே. உத்திமனமெட்டரிய உத்தம ரகசியமே உள்ளன்பினுக்கு முதமே உத்திமனமெட்டரிய உத்தம ரகசியமே உள்ளன்பினுக்கு முதமே. உரையாது மந்திரம் உரைத்தனை அதன் பெருமை உரையால் உரைக்கு வசமோ உரையாத மந்திரம் உரைத்தனை அதன் பெருமை உரையால் உரைக்க வசமோ உரையால் உரைக்க வசமோ. சத்தாஹி சித்தாய் சதானந்த ரமணனே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே. தித்திக்கும் இன்பரசம் எல்லாம் திரண்டதோ தெவிட்டாத பேரின்பமே தித்திக்கும் இன்பரசம் எல்லாம் திரண்டதோ தெவிட்டாத பேரின்பமே. சிந்தையுற நின்றபடி சிவஞான முக்தி நிலை சித்து விளையாடும் அரசே சிந்தையுற நின்றபடி சிவஞான முக்தி நிலை சித்து விளையாடும் அரசே சித்து விளையாடும் அரசே. சத்தாஹி சித்தாய் சதானந்த ரமணனே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே. சத்தாஹி சித்தாய் சதானந்த ரமணனே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே துரிய நிறைவான பரமே. நமோ ரமண.
குரு ரமண கண்மணியை கழிபுற நான் கண்டேனே குரு ரமண கண்மணியை கழிபுறனா கண்டேனே சிவபதத்தை கண்டேனே குருபதத்தை கண்டேனே சிவபதத்தை கண்டேனே குருபதத்தை கண்டேனே குரு ரமண கண்மணியை கழிபுறனா கண்டேனே ஆதிரையின் நாடானை அனுபவமா வேதாந்த மூதுரையின் அகந்துலங்க மோதடித்த வேதியனை ஆதிரையின் நாடானை அனுபவமா வேதாந்த மூதுரையின் அகந்துலங்க மோதடித்த வேதியனை ஆதரையின் எனையாண்ட அற்புதத்தை ஞான அருள் பாதரச வைபவத்தை பகல் போல கண்டேனே ஆதரையின் எனையாண்ட அற்புதத்தை ஞான அருள் பாதரச வைபவத்தை பகல் போல கண்டேனே குரு ரமண கண்மணியை கழிபுறனான் கண்டேனே குரு ரமண கண்மணியை கழிபுறனான் கண்டேனே சிவபதத்தை கண்டேனே குருபதத்தை கண்டேனே குரு ரமண கண்மணியை கழிபுறனான் கண்டேனே திரும்புதல் இல்லாத பரந்தாம ஒளிர் திருப்பரமா கரும்பதமா மோக மன காட்சியன் சுட்டறிவுக்கு திரும்புதல் இல்லாத பரந்தாம ஒளிர் திருப்பரமா கரும்பதமா மோக மன காட்சியன் சுட்டறிவுக்கு அரும்பதமா நிகமாக மாதங்கள் போற்றி செய்கும் பெரும் பதமாம் கைவல்ய பிரம்மபதம் கண்டேனே அரும் பதமானிகமாக மாதங்கள் போற்றி செய்கும் பெரும் பதமாம் கைவல்ய பிரம்மபதம் கண்டேனே குரு ரமண கண்மணியை கழிபுறனா கண்டேனே குரு ரமண கண்மணியை கழிபுறனான் கண்டேனே சிவரமண செழுபதத்தை தெளிவுறனான் கண்டேனே சிவரமண செழுபதத்தை தெளிவுறனான் கண்டேனே ஓம் நமோ பகவதே ஸ்ரீ ரமணாய.
Namo Ramana. We move to the part of the satsang where we have a reading and sharing by Sri Nandakumarji.
Namo Ramana. In this, the book reading segment of our satsang, we have been reading this wonderful compilation by our founder president, Sri A.R. Natarajanji, entitled Ramana's Muruganar, and we have come upon this segment where Sadhuvam Swamigal writes with Muruganar being called as the right hand of Bhagavan, the right hand of Ramana Maharshi. We have come to that point in his account where he is going to give us two reasons for Muruganar's finding self-knowledge with Bhagavan's grace. So we continue. There are two important reasons which we can appropriately venture to tell in order to account for the fact that Sri Muruganar attained the lofty state of Brahma Sakshatkara as a direct experience by the grace of Sri Ramana Bhagavan. The first reason is his peerless Guru Bhakti. That is the first reason. Second reason is going to tell some distance later, but that is, he says that Muruganar had a clean slate. He had no prior knowledge of Upanishads or Shastras. That also helped. So that is going to come later. So I am just mentioning it so that we will have it in mind. One is the Guru Bhakti. The other is not having any prior knowledge about the subject, so that Bhagavan could write directly in that clean slate. The first reason is his peerless Guru Bhakti, his one-pointed love, which was directed not even to any of the Trimurtis, but only to Sri Ramana Bhagavan. This one-pointed Guru Bhakti blossomed in the heart of Sri Muruganar as soon as he heard about Sri Bhagavan. The inner feelings which arose at that time in his heart and the external events of his renouncing his home can be seen expressed by him in the mystical language of love poetry in the second volume of Sri Ramana Jnana Bodham called Ahappurul Vilakkam. The divine grace of Sri Bhagavan entered the heart of Sri Muruganar, dragged him out of his home, and by divine love made him a prisoner in the cave of the heart, the true home of Sri Arunachala Ramana, in a manner identical to that described by Sri Bhagavan as his own experience in verses 3 and 97 of Arunachala, Sri Arunachala Aksharamanamalai. Aham Pokundirtun Ahabuhai Sirayai Amarvitta Denkul Arunachala is verse number 3. On the very first day that Sri Muruganar met his Sadguru, 23rd September 1923, when he read out in the presence of Sri Bhagavan the song he had sung and brought as an offering, his voice faltered and his hair stood erect due to the divine emotion which surged within him. And he sat in the presence overwhelmed with sublime love for Sri Bhagavan. On that day, 23rd September 1923, on that day, how could the ordinary people present there know the greatness of this divine poet who had been selected and brought by Sri Bhagavan to serve as an instrument in order in later days to reveal to the world liberally and unstintingly the glory and power of his grace. How this one-pointed devotion of Sri Muruganar later blossomed in him in its full maturity can be understood from the following verses. I will not approach any other human being, but will adore only the feet of my Lord. In consonance with that, the feet of my Lord have invested me with the crown of jnana, and thus I have attained silence. I will not approach any other human being, but will adore only the feet of my Lord. In consonance with that, the feet of my Lord have invested me with the crown of jnana, and thus I have attained silence. One more verse. Henceforth, whatever may become available to me through anyone else in any world, whether here or hereafter, I will not at all agree to be fettered and behave as a slave to anyone else other than my Lord. Henceforth, whatever may become available to me through anyone else in any world, whether here or hereafter, I will not at all agree to be fettered and behave as a slave to anyone else other than my Lord. In his Guru Bhakti, Sri Muruganar was equal only to himself. He had understood the truth that though it is only the one supreme reality which is pointed out by all religions as their goal, and which is manifest as all the names and forms of God, allowing the mind to expand and diverge by wandering after all the religions and after all the names and forms of God, cannot be a means to attain the final knowledge. Hence, in accordance with the great truths, clinging to one, remaining with a single mind, and the Guru Murti alone is all the Trimurtis. He cherished a one pointed devotion, clinging firmly to the name and form of his Sadguru Sri Ramana, and not allowing his mind to expand and become scattered in many directions. Though it is the one Shakti that is manifest as these many divine names, we should hold on to one. Bhagavan himself has taught that many times in the talks. This fact is made clear in so many of his verses, of which the following are just a few examples. My tongue will not sing in praise of anyone except the Divine Lord, who made me clearly know the one secret of self knowledge by the sublime unspoken speech of silence. O Ramana Deva, O Lord, who made me become yourself, I do not know of any God to attain other than you. I'll read that again. O Ramana Deva, O Lord, who made me become yourself, I do not know of any God to attain other than you. Sannidhi Murai, verse 539. One more from Sannidhi Murai. O Ramana, the sovereign who bestowed the life of supreme bliss, having made me come by calling, Come, come, I will never approach the temples of any other gods. O Ramana, the sovereign who bestowed the life of supreme bliss, having made me come by calling, Come, come, I will never approach the temples of any other god. Sannidhi Murai, verse 545. To some friends who once lovingly invited him, saying, We are going on a pilgrimage to all the holy tirthas and kshetras. Will you also come along with us? Sri Muruganar politely replied, By going to all those places, what can I see? The very moment I saw Sri Ramana, the great son of Jnana, my eyes were blinded by his light. After that, by going anywhere, what can I see with these blind eyes? Thereby humbly referring to the eye of self knowledge, which he had attained as a blind eye. The eye of self knowledge can be called as full seeing or completely blind to all the names and forms, and it is called as being blinded by the light of the self. It was only such one pointed devotion to Sri Bhagavan which enabled Sri Muruganar to attain self realization so easily. About this Ananya Bhakti or otherless love, Sri Muruganar sings in Sri Ramana Jnana Bodham. For me, who was born only to adore the feet of Lord Ramana, why should there be any relationship with anyone else? Having attained the boon of shining brightly in the solitary state of supreme silent grace, my mind rightfully belongs to him alone. I'll repeat that. For me, who was born only to adore the feet of Lord Ramana, why should there be any relationship with anyone else? Having attained the boon of shining brightly in the solitary state of supreme silent grace, my mind rightfully belongs to him alone. One more verse. I do not rightfully belong even to myself, but only to Lord Ramana, who has enslaved me, destroying the misery of my mind. For me, who am out and out a bond slave to him, to have a relationship with anyone else would be immoral. I'll read this verse also once again. I do not rightfully belong even to myself, but only to Lord Ramana, who has enslaved me, destroying the misery of my mind. For me, who am out and out a bond slave to him, to have a relationship with anyone else would be immoral. The second important reason that can be given to account for Sri Muruganar's attaining Brahma Sakshatkara by the grace of Sri Bhagavan is as follows. The first reason was his one-pointed Guru Bhakti. The second point, the clean slate, is going to be described here. The second important reason that can be given to account for Sri Muruganar's attaining Brahma Sakshatkara by the grace of Sri Bhagavan is as follows. Though before coming to Sri Bhagavan, he was a great Tamil scholar and poet, Sri Muruganar had thoroughly studied only such literary works as would increase his mastery over the Tamil language. And he had not read any scriptures which expounded the spiritual path. He had keenly studied and tried to follow only the Tirukural, which emphasizes, since virtuous conduct bestows all good, virtuous conduct should be cherished more than one's own life. That is Kural 131. I'll read that again. Since virtuous conduct bestows all good, virtuous conduct should be cherished more than one's life. Kural 131. Sadhuvam Swamigal is implying that Muruganar was living by the teachings of Tirukural, but had not studied any Vedantic texts analyzing philosophical principles, nor had he entangled himself in the frenzied clamor which goes on everywhere in the name of japa, dhyana, and yoga. A true love for God alone was steeped in his heart, and knowing that it is impossible to attain the fruit of human birth without a proper Sadguru, he was in a state of ever awaiting the darshanam of the Sadguru. We'll stop there. We see how nicely Sadhuvam Swamigal is building the point that Muruganar had a very clean mind where Bhagavan could write the teachings directly, and he had retained that. He had mentioned that earlier also, that he had mentioned earlier also that Muruganar was the only person who asked Bhagavan directly to tell us what was right for us, rather than ask Bhagavan any doubt which would have been from his side. So that clean slate allowed him to ask Bhagavan, please tell what is good for humanity. And that is how we received Upadesa Saram Ulladu Narpadu Guruvachaka Kovai was the earlier statement which we can recall. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. I request Nandakumarji again to guide us through a self-enquiry session and make us practice self-enquiry for the next few minutes.
Namo Ramana. Before we commence the practice of Atma Ucharan, let us meditate a little bit on the teachings of self-enquiry contained in the work Ulladu Narpadu. In the work Ulladu Narpadu, verses 8 to 22, they cover a segment where Bhagavan says that இரட்டைகள் முப்பொடிகள் என்றும் ஒன்று பற்றி இருப்பவாம் அவ்வொன்றியதென்று கருத்தினுள் கண்டால் கழலும் அவை. That means the good and the bad, knowledge and ignorance, the seer seeing seen, knower knowing known, all these arise holding on to one. Later on he will say the second and third persons arise only after the first person has arisen. If you search for the source of the first person will vanish without a trace. Later on he will say Namandri Naledu Nadedu, that the thoughts of time and the thoughts of place arise only after the self-attentive I is there. So the self-attentive I alone is there, time and place is not there, he will tell. Now, What do these imply when we are doing self-enquiry? When we are doing self-enquiry, which we are going to practice in the next few minutes, we may get some personal thoughts, some sensory experiences that we would have had in the past few hours that may come. And those are enquired out. Then we come to the thoughts which we can easily look at from Ulladu Narpadu perspective. That the thoughts can fall under any of the dualities. That it can be a good thought or it can be a bad thought. As Dilipji would advise us, neither good thought nor bad thought is to be pursued. But now, holding on to the meditation of Ulladu Narpadu, we need not look at that thought particularly, but we can inquire for whom is this good and for whom is this bad. That way, what happens is that the I starts transforming itself from the place where we begin as Nandakumar with his personal troubles. We go and hold the Hiranyagarbha I of Ishvara. Because from where can these thoughts about good and bad, about time and place, can it arise from the Nandakumar's I? The Nandakumar's I would have started the self-enquiry. But as we inquire and as we go and find that the whole good and bad arises from an I. The whole of past, present, future arises from an I. Suppose we get a thought that I am in Seattle and why am I not in some other place? Then that I am in Seattle thought or why am I not in Tiruvannamalai thought, what I should do, I should inquire that, oh, this is the thought of place. For whom is this thought of place? At that time, all places arise only after the arising of one I. That is the Hiranyagarbha I of Ishvara. So, as we inquire and go to these root divisions, which Ulladu Narpadu tells us, we start holding the Ishvara's I. In Mandukya Upanishad, we are told that in the waking state, the Jiva is called as Vishwa and the Ishvara is called as Virat. And in the dream state or in the contemplative state, where we understand that the mind is the Adhara for the Stula also, the individual is called as Taijasa and the Ishvara is called as Hiranyagarbha. That means all the Stula related thoughts and all the root dualities and triads in the mind, Irattaihal Muppudihal, whom do they hold? They hold the Hiranyagarbha I. Because all the thoughts are present and arise for one I. When we understand this and practice inquiry, Bhagavan is making us hold the Ishvara's I, we are able to realize. And where does holding the Hiranyagarbha I take us? It takes us to the third stage, in deep sleep, in Mandukya Upanishad. In deep sleep, the individual is called as the Prajna and the Ishvara is called as Ishvara, this Purana. So the Hiranyagarbha I of Ishvara, when we continue the inquiry, it subsides into the Ishvara Swarupa called Spurana. And that is where we start experiencing the Spurana in Atmavichara. So the Atmavichara is not simplistic, but it is direct. Instead of holding the individual's I, as we meditate Ulladu Narpadu and practice Atmavicharam, we go to the fundamental splits in the mind. The mind, the cosmic mind itself is available to us as good and bad, as Arivu Ariyamai, as first person, second person, third person, as past, present, future, as time and place, as Vidhi Madi. Vidhi Madi, Mula Vivekam Illarke. Now Vidhi and Madi both are thoughts for whom? For the Ishvara, for the Hiranyagarbha I. So when we don't try to worry about the uncontrollable thoughts or controllable thoughts, then Vidhi and Madi arise only holding on to one. Avu onreyendru karuthinul kandal. Vidhi Madi kadalum. Kadalum avai. Kandavare unmai kandar. When the Hiranyagarbha I settles into the Ishvara I, in Atmavicharam. We are now brought into Sayujya with the Ishvara Swarupa itself. And that is where this Purana starts revealing itself. Soham Spurti Taya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam. And hold on to that Ishvara Swarupa as this Purana and keep quiet, he says. Bhagavan says, keep quiet. Vichara will take you to hold the Hiranyagarbha Swarupa of Ishvara, but don't be satisfied with that. Go and experience this Purana Sthiti, the Ishvara Sthiti of deep sleep, and don't ask anything from it. It will remove the I am the body idea, says Bhagavan. And that is the practice we are going to sit for the next 10 minutes or so. That when thoughts arise, we don't pursue the thoughts. And when we have meditated deeply enough on Ulladhanarpadu, we see that the whole of good and bad, the whole of triads, the whole of dyads, the whole of second, third person, fourth person, the whole of time and place, the whole of Vidimadi arise to one eye. When we hold that, we are holding on to the Hiranyagarbha eye of Ishvara. And keep holding, that will take us to the Ishvara Swarupa in deep sleep, that is the Spurana. That will consume the Virat Swarupa, subsides into the Hiranyagarbha Swarupa. Hiranyagarbha Swarupa subsides into the Spurana. That way, the Spurana alone exists. And that is where we start identifying with the self of all, with absolute jnana, that by Bhagavan's grace, we have come to the self of all, and this is where we have to abide. There is no further effort to be made. Then that Spurana also quietens itself into the Sat, says Bhagavan. Let us start by letting go of thoughts that come to us. With Bhagavan's grace, that self will reveal itself. For the next 10 minutes or so, let us sit in Atmavachara. Ujwalji, you can set the time for us. Thank you, sir.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana to all. With the abundance
Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. We have a sharing by Sri Venkatesh Deshpande ji.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunattu Sahaviram Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dhyanamulam Gurur Murti, Pujamulam Gurur Padam, Mantramulam Vakyam Mokshamulam Guru Kripaha. Mokshamulam Guru Kripaha. Namo Ramana. We are doing Manana on Atmabodha, and last satsang we did Manana on verse number 40. I'll just do a quick recap on that. He who has realized the Supreme Brahman discards all forms, colors, etc., and rests in his own intrinsic form, which is infinite consciousness and bliss. So the previous verse, that is the verse 39, deals with the technique of establishing oneself in the experience of the reality, while this verse describes the nature of such an experience. The pluralistic world is a superimposition on the Brahman. All that exists is Brahman alone. This is true of realized sages and the ignorant. But the ignorant are caught in an illusion. They perceive a world of forms, castes, and creeds in the place of Brahman. The illusion has to be overcome and the Brahman realized. The self in you is the pure consciousness. This consciousness is the same as the infinite, all-pervading consciousness. The self is also described as being of the nature of infinite bliss. You experience bliss when the agitations of your mind are reduced. The lesser the mental agitation, the greater the bliss. When you merge with the self, your mind is completely annihilated. You experience absolute peace and bliss. We'll do Manana on verse number 41 today. And I request Sapna to kindly chant the verse, please, for us.
Yes, sir. ज्ञातृज्ञानज्ञेयभेदः परमात्मनि न विद्यते चिदानन्द एकरूपत्वात् दीप्यते स्वयं एव हि ज्ञातृज्ञानज्ञेयभेदः परमात्मनि न विद्यते चिदानन्द एकरूपत्वात् दीप्यते स्वयं एव हि. Thank you, sir. Namo Ramana.
Thank you, Sapna. On account of its being of the nature of soul knowledge and bliss, there are no distinctions of knower, knowledge, and known in the Supreme Self. It verily shines by itself. I'll read this important thing. On account of its being of the nature of the soul knowledge and bliss, there are no distinctions of knower, knowledge, and known in the Supreme Self. If verily it verily shines by itself. On realization of the self, the individual merges with the Brahman. The erstwhile experiencer who has further been experiencing the world of objects becomes Brahman. When you become one with the Brahman, these distinctions vanish. Thereafter, Brahman alone exists, nothing else. You gain all your knowledge through the media of your body, mind, and intellect. You become the knower of your perceptions, emotions, and thoughts, which are known. You are conditioned by your material equipments. When you transcend these conditionings, and establish your identity with the self within, you drop the status of the known. Thereafter, you become one with the absolute knowledge, wherein there is no distinctions as knower, known, and knowing. Similarly, you use body, mind, and intellect to gain finite joys of the world. When you drop the equipments and become one with the Supreme Self, you attain absolute bliss. In that experience, there is no subject object relationship. All distinctions or differences in the world fall under three categories, that is, Sajatiya, Vijatiya, and Swagata. Sajatiya is the difference in the same species, like two cows of different colors, or two men of different nationalities. In the second category, Vijatiya, the differences is in form of one species to another, say a cow and say a tiger or a lion. Swagata refers to the different aspects of a single entity, like differences between the head, trunk, and limbs in a human being. Brahman, which is infinite and all pervading, is native and has none of these distinctions. The transcendental experience is described as being beyond the grasp of human equipment. One then wonders how and with what equipment one could experience the Atman. To clear this doubt, Atman is described here as self-illuminatory. Atman is pure consciousness which enables you to be conscious of your perceptions, emotions, and thoughts. When these are eliminated, consciousness alone remains, being conscious of itself. It is like a lamp which illuminates extraneous objects but needs no other lamp to illumine itself. Very important. It is like a lamp which illuminates extraneous objects but needs no other lamp to illumine itself. Consciousness is self-effulgent. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. In the next part of the satsang, we have a sharing by Dr. Kalarani Rengasamy from Madurai.
I don't think she is there on the line. Ujwal?
Ramana to us with the abundance grace of God. We are meditating on Devi Kadotra Jnana Vichara Padal verse by Bhagavan in Tamil. And in the last satsang we saw Bhagavan saying Pori Vidayathil Urupodum Virupam Uravidadu Mun Mamadai Kutti Arivu Uramutru Asai Bayam Atru Endrum Anmavil Ramipan Masila Yodi Madi. We saw this. The five senses which are facing outside the world are dragged by the worldly objects. But the desire to process those worldly objects emerges from where? From the mind. Bhagavan says, don't allow senses to have desires that will lead us only for the mamahara. So drive off that mamahara. Un mamadai oti. When there is no mamahara, there will be no desire at all. There will be no fear of anything. Now, what is happening? The thought comes, I fear whether the object which I am having now will I be using that, losing that? Will it go away from me? What is going to happen? I am afraid. Bhagavan says, don't give room for desire and don't be with full of fear always. So in the next stanza, Bhagavan says, Samanahi nindayir chatru. Tudiyir pin sarva bhudatum samanahi ennalum maramal தன்னுயிர் போல் மண்ணுயிர்தான் சமைத்திட்டு மண்ணிடவே வேண்டுமார். நிந்தையிற் சாற்று. Let anybody say or thinks low of myself. But actually we would have done something wrong. Or maybe the other way wrong. Somebody might flatter me. Oh, what a nice person you are. They may appreciate our activity. Don't try to find any difference between them. Treat both as equal. Nindayir chatru tudiyir samanahi. Then what should be done? Bhagavan says, Vin sarva bhudattum samanahi. Consider all jivas with equality. Bhagavan's life is the best example for this. All coming to ashram were treated equally, right from squirrel, all animals who came to Bhagavan had their own space in his samadhi. They all enjoyed the presence of Bhagavan.
One day, a monkey was seen very panic and was rushing to Bhagwan with great excitement. Bhagwan calmly inquired, "Why? What happened?" "Oh, your leader has passed away." "Okay, I will come and you go." Bhagwan went there. The leader's body was laid at the center and all other monkeys were sitting in a round position and were weeping. Bhagwan also went and sat with them and started giving the highest Upadesa. He said, "See guys, that which is born has to die one day. That cannot be changed at all. And it is only the body that dies and there is no destruction for the Atman." Meanwhile, devotees from ashram came searching for Bhagwan, and when they saw Bhagwan here and teaching the monkeys the highest philosophy, asked Bhagwan, "Bhagwan, why are you giving such high Upadesam for these monkeys?" Bhagwan very calmly said, "I am trying to tell you people also." All kept quiet. Such is the samadrishti that Bhagwan showed to all. Once a person wrote a book on Bhagwan with wrong information about Bhagwan and gave that for proofreading to Bhagwan himself. Bhagwan showed no reaction. He corrected the grammatic mistake and gave it to him. When he was carrying that book and was about to leave ashram, Kunju Swami, who came to cross him, saw the book and asked him to show that. But Kunju Swami was shocked to read those words which convey bad things about Bhagwan. So he got annoyed and went to Bhagwan and asked, "What Bhagwan, this book is full of wrong information about you and you have not corrected them." Bhagwan said, "Why I have to correct all these? I was to correct only the grammatic mistakes. No worries." He wanted me to do that alone. Such is the greatness of Bhagwan's Samadrishti. But that book could not be published for other reasons. So this stanza of Jnana Vichara Padaram conveys two things. Only a self-realized soul can have such a great Samadrishti. He will find no difference between anything. Actually, there is no two-way only. There is only one Ekam. He sees Brahman, Atman everywhere and in every object. So there is no difference. He can treat all equally. Second thing is that when one practices to see all as equal, all as one, or treat everyone as himself, remove all the obstacles that shows the difference, simply destroy the ahankara and mamahara. When one keeps on doing this sadhana, one can reach the highest position of jnani and reach samadrishti state. Both are one. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. In this part of the satsang, we are meditating on the verses of Ramanacentre written by Ganapati Muni, and they have been compiled and titled Ramanacentre by Ramana himself. We are approaching Navaratri, where the Supreme is worshipped. The motherly love of the Supreme is worshipped, and it is worshipped as the Devis, as the mother. And we see that in the beginning of this verse, he is remembering the mother Janani. he says, Yadhi na janani stanyam datyat shishorvat kagatihi Yadi pashupatihi krodam kuryat pashoravanam kutah Yadi padajusham acharyatvam nihamsi na samshayam Brahmashatapara bhutayete tarantu bhavam katam Ramanam gurum namami Ramanam gurum namami Vishadahasite purna shanti sudhakara sodari Sthirapritulayo purna shakti drishora tulartisho hridaya kamale nityanishta bahishcha sarat prabhe Ramana Bhagavan Kovamoni Samastava Bhutale Ramanam Gurum Namami Ramanam Gurum Namami Ramanam Gurum Namami Ramanam Gurum Namami ತಾಯಿ ಮುನಿಯಲು ಮಗುವು ತಾವುಳಿಯುವುದೇನು ಪಶುಪತಿಯೇ ಮುನಿಯಲು ಪಶು ನರಳದೇನು ವಿಧಿಯ ದೂರು ನಿಂತ ಮಾನವನ ಬಗೆಯೇನು ನಿನ್ನ ಕೃಪೆ ತಪ್ಪಿದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗತಿಯೇನು ಬಂದೆನೋ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಳಿ ನೊಂದು ರಮಣ ಭವದ ಕತ್ತಲೆ ಹರಿಸೋ ದಿವ್ಯ ಚರಣ ಬಂದೆನೋ ಹುಣ್ಣಿಮೆಯ ಚಂದಿರನ ಕಣ್ಣೆದುರು ತರುವ ನಿನ್ನ ಮುಖ ಮಂಡಲವು ಸುರಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ಮಧುವ ಜ್ಯೋತಿನಯನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಮ್ಮುತ್ತಿದೆ ಕರುಣೆ ಹೊಮ್ಮುತ್ತಿದೆ ಎಲ್ಲರನು ಸಲಹುವ ಮಹಿಮೆ ಬಂದೆನೋ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಳಿ ನೊಂದು ರಮಣ ಭವದ ಕತ್ತಲೆ ಹರಿಸೋ ದಿವ್ಯ ಚರಣ ಬಂದೆನೋ Ganapati Muni starts saying, Oh Supreme, who is so loving like a mother, if you stop caring for your child, what will be the fate of that child? You are the Pashupati, the mother for all the Pashus, all the beings. If you get angry with your own children, then what will be the fate of those Pashus, those cattle? And you are the teacher. The mother is the first teacher. So you are like a mother. You should teach me what is right and what is wrong. And if you do not speak anything, I am sitting under your feet to seek clarity. And you are in your supreme state of mauna, which I am not able to understand. Then what will be the fate of this Shishya who is under your feet, O Guru, O Mother? Then he continues, for those who are in this illusion, thousands of people who have been accumulating these vasanas and illusions for hundreds and hundreds of years and hundreds of janmas, how can they ever cross this ocean of illusion without your help? Oh, Mother Ramana, please come and save. Please come and liberate us. And in the next paragraph itself, we see that Ganapati Muni is describing the love of the mother. He is describing the beautiful smile of the mother like Ramana. He is describing that compassionate glance of the mother. And he is describing the love in the heart of that mother. And he is describing that how the mother is simply in silence. Yet, in that presence, the child feels very, very comfortable. There is no conversation which is happening between the mother and the child, but just in the presence of the mother, the child feels happy and contented. Such is the love of Mother Ramana. Dr. Sharda, in one of her English songs, she sings of Mother Ramana. Ramana my mother, Ramana my mother, Ramana my mother. And there she describes all these points. She says, my first smile, it sprang from your smile, O Mother Ramana. My first speech also was directed towards you. What I saw first in this world is you, O Mother Ramana, and you have embraced me like a child, and I don't know anything else other than you, O Mother Ramana. She sings in her beautiful poetic song on Mother Ramana. And in the next verse, Ramana is describing, Ganapati Muni is describing Ramana as the three Devis which is celebrated in the Navaratri festival. Devi Shaktiriyam Drisho Shritajana Dvantakshayadayini Devim Shririyam Ambujakshamahishi Vaktre Sahasrachade Devim Brahmavaduriyam Vijayate Vyahara Gudapara Vishwacharya Mahanubhava Ramana Tvam Sautuka Prakritaha Ramanam Gurum Namami Ramanam Gurum Namami Ramanam Gurum Namami Ramanam Gurum Namami Devi Shaktiriyam Drisho Shritajana Dvantakshayadayini. Devi Shakti, ಶಿವನ ಅರ್ಧಾಂಗಿ, ನಿನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗುತ್ತಾ ಭಕ್ತರ ಅಜ್ಞಾನಾಂಧಕಾರವನ್ನ ನಾಶವ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದೆ. ದೇವೀಂ ಶ್ರೀರಿಯಂ ಅಂಬುಜಾಕ್ಷ ಮಹಿಷಿ ವಕ್ತ್ರೇ ಸಹಸ್ರಚ್ಛದೇ. ಓ ರಮಣ, ನಿನ್ನ ಮುಖಮಂಡಲದಲ್ಲಿ 1000 ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿಗಳು. ಯಾರು? ಆ ಕಮಲ ನಯನ ವಿಷ್ಣುವಿನ ಪತ್ನಿಯಾದ ಆ ಶ್ರೀ ಮಹಾಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಕಮಲದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ 1000 ಕಮಲಗಳಾಗಿ ಅರಳುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. ದೇವೀಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವದೂರಿಯಂ ವಿಜಯತೆ ವ್ಯಾಹಾರ ಗೂಢಾಪರಾ. ರಮಣ, ನಿನ್ನ ನಡೆ ನುಡಿ ನಡತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ ವಧು ಅಂದರೆ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ರಾರಾಜಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. Vishvacharya Mahanubhava Ramana Tvam Stautuka Prakritaha. O Vishvacharya Mahanubhava Ramanane, ನಿನ್ನನ್ನ ಈ ಪಾಮರ ಹೇಗೆ ವರ್ಣಿಸಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯ? Ganapati Muni is describing, oh Ramana, in your eyes is Devi Shakti, the Parvati, who is the consort of Shiva, and he by her presence in your glance, she is destroying the ignorance, the darkness of ignorance. And in your face, which is so glorious, thousands of Lakshmi, like the thousands of petaled, 1,000 lotuses is blossoming in your face, and in your speech, and in the way that you conduct yourself, and in all your activities. Brahma's wife Saraswati is victoriously seen. And O Vishvacharya Mahanubhava Ramana, O the world teacher Ramana, how can I describe you? I, a Pamara. A Pamara means the one who is such an ignorant. How can I describe your glory, says Ganapati Muni. When I hear this line told by Ganapati Muni, who was a great tapasvi, who had understood all the Vedas, all the Shastras, all the Puranas, he had done all that had to be done. Such a one in whom the poetry, the Sanskrit poetry used to flow freely from his Kanta. So he got the name Kavya Kanta, Vasishta Ganapati Muni. Such a great one. He says, I am a Pamara, I am such an ignorant. How can I describe your glory, O Ramana? Just to remind us that the glory of Ramana is beyond our comprehension. What he does, and we can't judge what Ramana does or the Supreme does to us with our limited intellect and our limited mind and our limited understanding. It is beyond our understanding. Such is the love of the mother, which cannot be you cannot give a value to that love of the mother, because it is priceless. So whenever if somebody brought prasadam from Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple or any Devi temple, and the kumkum was given to Bhagavan with great love, with tears in his eyes, used to take the kumkum and say, oh, mother has come, and he used to smear that kumkum on his forehead with so much of love. And we know that Ramana has shown us how to love the mother. As a young boy in Tiruchuli, when he was afraid that he is going to get scoldings from his father, whom did he run to? He ran and sat behind Sahayamba in the Bhuminatha temple. And when asked, oh Venkatrama, your parents were searching for you everywhere, why are you hiding here? He told that when somebody is in problem, where they should come? They should come to the mother. So I came to my mother. And later, in the age of 16, and it is by the grace of that Madurai Meenakshi Amman, by her Karuna Kataksha, Ramana played this Leela of the destruction of ignorance, and he won over the death, and he became a Jnani. He was ever abiding in that supreme light of Jnana at the Madurai by the compassionate glance of Madurai Meenakshi mother. And later when he came to Tiruvannamalai, he was still taken care. The pujari who used to do Abhishekam in the Apita Kuchamba temple, seeing this young boy sitting here in the meditative mood, he used to bring the milk which was offered as abhishekam, which was mixed with turmeric and kumkum, everything, and that was brought and given to this boy as an offering. So apita kuchamba means the mother who has these beautiful breasts, which is never suckled by anyone. It is nobody has drank the milk from her breasts, saying that she is the Adi mother. She is the mother who came long time back, even before any creation had come, and she was waiting with all this milk of jnana to nourish Ramana. So she gave this milk to Ramana when he was staying in the Arunachaleshwara temple. Ganapati Muni, in one of his Uma Sahasram verses, he says, "Oh mother, you are very, very partial. For Ramana, my younger brother, you are giving your jnana pal, and me, you are sending me away to a faraway place, to Sirisi. Why are you doing this, oh Apita Kuchamba mother? Why are you not showing me love, just like how you are pouring your love towards my younger brother Ramana?" He sings with a ninda stuti to the mother. So such is the love of the mother, and Ramana, he showed us the path of how to love the mother. And the greatest thing that Ramana told is that the mother is ever shining within every one of us as the Chinmayi. And one needs to get back to that Chinmayi, the lap of Chinmayi. When we abide in the lap of Chinmayi, we become one with that mother. And then alone, we are actually paying our true homage to not only our mother, but to all mother and Jaganmata. So that is the true purpose of our lives, to getting back to our own true nature, which is Chinmayi, and she is waiting for us to come and to embrace us with her motherly love. And Ramana has come to teach us the path to get back to that mother Chinmayi. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Now we have the chanting of the verses of Aksharamanamalai by Srimati V. Radha and Vallabh Srinivasa.
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Mottayadittanadetta veliyalli nattamaadina Arunachala. Moham tavirthum moham avaitum moham thirage Arunachala. Mauniyakar pon Radirindal Maunamidamo Arunachala. Yavanin vayin maniyaki en pidai podita Arunachala. Yarum ariyadin madiyinai marati Yavar kollai konda Arunachala. Ramananai uரைத்தேன் ரோஷம் கொள்ளாதேனை ரமித்திட செய்யவா Arunachala. ராப்பகலில்லா வெறுவெளி வீட்டில் ரமித்திடுவோம் Arunachala. லட்சியம் வைத்தருள் அஸ்திரம் விட்டென்னை பக்ஷித்தாய் பிராணனோடு Arunachala. லாபனீய பரலாபம் இல்லென்னை உற்று லாபம் என்றோ தன்னை Arunachala. வரும்படி சொல்லில்லை வந்தென் படியள வருந்திடும் தலை விதி Arunachala. வாவென்றுக்கும் வாழ்வருளன்று என் வாழ்விழிந்தேன் அருள் Arunachala. விட்டிடு கஷ்டமா விட்டிடாதுனை உயிர் விட்டிட அருள் புரி Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, 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 Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachalam வாழி அன்பர்களும் வாழி அக்ஷரமணமாலை வாழி. நமோ ரமண.
Namo Ramana. Now we will have the Ashtottara puja to Bhagavan, which will be conducted here at the Ramana Maharshi Heritage Center Meditation Hall, and the chanting of the Ashtottaram. Chanting of the Ashtottaram will be by Vaibhavji and Prarthana, followed by Uma Shripati, and the Arati song will be sung by Pratibha Sundaresh.
नमो रमण. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि. ॐ महासेन महोंसेन जाताय नमः. ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः. ॐ गुरवे नमः. ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः. ॐ महौजसे नमः. ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः. ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः. ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः. ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः. ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः. ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः. ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः. ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः. ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः. ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः. ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः. ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः. ॐ तीव्राय नमः. ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः. ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः. ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः. ॐ तपोमयाय नमः. ॐ उदासीनाय नमः. ॐ महायोगिने नमः. ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः. ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः. ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः. ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः. ॐ सवित्रे नमः. ॐ स्थिराय नमः. ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः. ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः. ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहास्यश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः. ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः. ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः. ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः. ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः. ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः. ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः. ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः. ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः. ॐ पूर्णाय नमः. ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः. ॐ गम्भीराय नमः. ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः. ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः. ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः. ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः. ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः।
ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्री शोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गे सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्छिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ हृच्छान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणात्मन्दमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः।
ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्री अष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थाणोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः श्रुत्याजनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रह सुप्रवाह विवशस्वगभीर नित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्येकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शन सुख मंगल मुख सकल जीवहित सम्मुख ब्रह्म संगीये सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिव नंद पुष्ट परम महर्षि
ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತಿಯೇ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡುತ್ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೋಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಗಿಯೇ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರ್ಣ ನಮೋ महर्षि नमो महर्षि। बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की जय।